The battle of the pros. Gravity Pro versus Speed Pro. Both 1820 string pattern, both 100 square inches head size, both relatively flexible, forgiving, powerful, spin friendly, whatever you want. Head is there to provide it to you. But there are some key differences between those two. And let's go. So let's start with the ground strokes, because both rackets are for baseliners. Yeah, you can do everything with those, to be honest. Of course, when compared to thin beam prestige racket or TF40 or blade, maybe you give up a bit on this precision, touch shots, drop shots. But the overall benefits you're getting, forgiveness, spin, power, sweet zone, I think it's worth at least exploring and trying for yourself. Maybe you want to stick to the baseline and try to finish the point from there, or you're just waiting for this put away shot. Both rackets are, I think, similarly forgiving. Both have similar access to spin potential. Of course, it is still an 1820 string pattern, so maybe it's not the most spin friendly option, but compared to all the other rackets with 1820 string pattern, I think the spin potential is great. And we can't discuss ground strokes without discussing power. And here is the first big difference. Overall, if I had to put the rackets on the graph, I would say Gravity is a bit closer to Prestige line, and Speed Pro is a bit closer to Radical line. So the power level is different between those two, and I would say the variety of maximum power and minimum power is a bit wider with the Speed Pro. And Gravity Pro takes this range and squeezes the top value a bit down. So you're getting much more control but less power from the Gravity Pro. Speed Pro, you can be very control oriented and feel oriented there, but sometimes if you catch the ball perfectly in the sweet zone, you can expect a slight boost in power. And depending of what you need, what you expect, it could be good or bad. I think if we look at the range of the maximum power and minimum power, I would try to squeeze the potential of the Speed Pro, but take this lower value and try to increase it slightly towards this power, let's say, zone. Because it's like I hit some neutral strokes and okay, I hit a bit too short. So what I try next? I try to adjust, I try to accelerate a bit more, and then all of a sudden I get a bit too much power. So it's a bit more sensitive to your acceleration. The lower the range, the tighter the range, the better for me, I think, because I try to keep my acceleration pretty much the same. I'm just moving with my feet, my body, my core, and all the rest stays pretty much the same. So with the Gravity Pro, I am more consistent, but the balls land a bit short. So I have to put more into the shot. and this is burning energy. Something for something, always. So in general, Speed Pro is more user-friendly and Gravity Pro is more control-oriented. Especially when we start discussing feel as well. Gravity, thin beam, Speed Pro, thick beam, and this is a big difference of how you feel the ball on the strings, and with the Gravity you feel a bit more. On the other hand, Speed Pro has a more, let's say, traditional shape, so the sweet zone in the Speed Pro is located, I think, a bit more traditionally, and with the Gravity Pro it's a bit lower and maybe it's bigger, so you don't have this sense of striking the ball clean, so you don't have that much feedback from the Gravity Pro, but the overall beam design and racket design gives you this sense of feel and control. So yeah, both rackets have a very interesting mix of different, let's say, words: power, forgiveness versus control and feel. And both rackets try to implement and mix those two words in a slightly different way. That being said, yeah, Gravity Pro is 1 foot closer to the traditional type of rackets. Speed Pro a bit closer to modern rackets. User friendliness is the main goal, I would say, over there, while with the Gravity Pro it's control, while giving a bit more let's say, encouragement to go for your shots and stay closer to the baseline, maybe hitting on the rise, be more engaged. I like saying that I'm a bit more engaged with the Gravity Pro, because if you're not, you're gonna die with the Gravity Pro. You have to put everything you've got with the Gravity Pro, and you get the control. It's low powered frame, but because the range of minimum and maximum power is a bit tighter, it's easy to, let's say, adjust your strokes and save the pattern and keep the ball forever in play. And with Speed Pro the variety is a bit wider, so yeah, some might say Speed Pro is a bit less consistent in the response, but I wouldn't call it inconsistent. It's just the type of racket, 23 millimeters beam, so it's thick. The twist wave rises quite much, but at the same time they lowered the static weight, so it's a balance of forgiveness, stability and power, and this is very attractive to many players. I would say most players will prefer Speed Pro, unless you are a freak like me. I seek confidence in the rackets, but at the same time I need some help getting out of those slightly more difficult situations. So picking between those two is very difficult, because Speed Pro is helping a bit more, but Gravity Pro is encouraging me to take a bigger cuts on the ball. So I am more confident with Gravity Pro. And this is a pickle that I wanted to solve for my ultimate tournament of rackets. We have Gravity Pro against Speed Pro, so we have to eliminate one, and my choice is Gravity Pro. Maybe it's that confidence booster aspect. So when I know I have to give a bit more from myself to don't hit to the net, maybe subconsciously hit with more juice, and that produces a heavier, better shot. With Speed Pro, maybe I am aware of this maximum value of power, so I don't want to step in that territory, so I dial back a bit and then I shift too much towards this lower region of the power range. I can play with control-oriented rackets, I can play with power-oriented rackets. It's maybe the power range that is tricky for me. The bigger the power range, the more inconsistent I can become, because it's harder to adjust the swing speed to really feel where the ball will go. Yeah, if I have a power-oriented racket with a tighter power region, then I can adjust with string tension, string gauge, and make sure my strokes will always fall into this territory of consistent, predictable response, and then I can adjust my swing style and play forever. Never make a mistake, because I know the result before I hit every ball. Another big difference between Speed Pro and Gravity Pro is wave distribution. I actually prefer the wave distribution of the Speed Pro. It feels a bit more natural on both my forehand and backhand. With Gravity Pro, my forehand is perfect, but my backhand feels a bit flimsy. I don't feel that much wave on my backhand side, wave of the racket. With Speed Pro, I feel the wave on both strokes. And yeah, on forehand, maybe I would prefer this slightly lighter feeling, but on my backhand, which is my actually better shot, I prefer to have this more compact feeling, and it's like a throwing motion for me. So wave helps in getting this sense of holding something and throwing something. I sometimes can move around this, because if the racket has higher swing wave and lower static wave, it's kind of even in feel. So with Gravity Pro, the comfort is slightly better and the feel is also better. And surprisingly, I prefer the newest Gravity Pro to the previous Gravity Pro. Over there, the feel was a bit lacking, I would say. The feel was a bit worse. I felt a bit disconnected. Regarding stability, I would say both are similar. They're both overall very solid, and I don't imagine a player adding wave to the heads of both rackets. The swing wave is already pretty high, just leather grip or maybe some mass to the handle and you're ready to go, or you can play in stock form. Yep, both are ready to go, and this is a good thing. I hate customizing rackets. Once I start messing around with lead, I almost never finish. So yeah, I have to be happy with the racket in stock form in order to even consider it as my main pick. Volleys, yeah, both rackets perform very well. I would say yeah, Gravity Pro is a bit maybe better because of this thin beam, and probably because of the lower powered response. You can block the ball and it won't shoot out. Speed Pro has that little trampoline effect if you catch the ball in a very specific way. Control, yeah, it's connected with power, right? So obviously with Gravity Pro the control is better, the feel is better, the connection is better, but yeah, it is more demanding, so you have to put more into every shot. Choosing between Gravity Pro and Speed Pro comes to the details in feel and power potential. Top spin, yeah, because both are 100 square inches racket, 18-20, they can produce a heavy ball. Gravity Pro has less power, so you can accelerate more, and if you have acceleration you get more spin. But Speed Pro is more responsive. The power range is wider, so the ball will get off the string a bit hotter, and it can potentially mean more spin. I think for my game, in my case, Gravity Pro offered slightly more spin because I was encouraged to accelerate a bit more, and with Speed Pro I was kind of expecting a bit too much, and I wasn't giving enough. Slices here I will give it to Speed Pro. It's mainly associated for me with the shape of the head. Speed Pro is a bit more focused in the sweet zone, so I have a better sense of knifing the ball, so it's easier to adjust the angle and produce a more quality slice as a result. So yeah, that's it for this comparison. Gravity Pro goes to the next round. Let's see how far, how deep it can go in the tournament. I would prefer a slightly more responsive Gravity Pro. I think the learning curve with the Gravity Pro is slightly longer, bigger, and with Speed Pro it is easier to just hop in and play great from the beginning. But for me as a competitive player, I really need this consistent, very predictable response, and then I can work on that. I can build something on that. However, it's in my head. Maybe I am a bit too weak for the Gravity Pro. It's quite demanding, but it's mainly associated with the overall static wave, balance, swing wave, rather and low powered response rather than anything else. The big reason also why I love the Gravity Pro is the endorsements. I already mentioned those players, but I am a type of guy that wants to be a part of a family, part of something, part of a story. I feel more engaged, and then I feel a bit more committed to the racket and to my play style or whatever. And when I started this YouTube channel, I had the idea of what I want to achieve and where I want to improve, and I am really focused on my identity as a tennis player. And with Gravity Pro it is easier for me to identify with something or someone. And Speed Pro, yeah, it is a great racket, and I used to play with it when I was like 18 years old, but it ends there. The story ends kind of there, and I want something more from the racket. So yeah, Gravity Pro! Woohoo!